This is another CP short, and on this one we are doing another what we are reading, and this one is really interesting. Wasn't anything that I thought it was going to be. Dove in a lot deeper, and it's not necessarily super related to health and nutrition and everything like that, but you can definitely draw some really interesting conclusions out of that. Without further ado, that book is The Marshmallow Test by Walter Mischel, I believe is how you pronounce it. He is a professor of psychology, had a lot of stuff to do with some things in the past. Talks a lot about the Stanford University uh, testing and experiments they have done, especially when it comes to looking at the prisoner test and how that worked. But the whole basis around what this is the original study they did is placing children in a room with a marshmallow and then asking them if they were able to wait and not eat that marshmallow for the instant gratification, that they could go on and get two marshmallows if they were able to just delay their gratification. From that, it just ballooned. They kept going and they looked at a bunch of different things. And what they were looking at is, does how that child responds early transpire to things later in life? And how does that affect it? Basically, did they react with a hot or a cool stimulus response? And how they handled that situation. And there was a lot of interesting correlations moving on later into their life. On does that mean they're going to save more and they put more into their 401k, so on and so forth. It was actually really kind of interesting. From there, the book just dives into a lot of different things. Talking about, is it pre-wired? Do your genetics really have to do this and make you go the way it is? And one of the things they found is, while yes, your genes play a role in how we influence or deal with our environment, the environment actually affects what parts of our DNA are expressed. So it's a chicken and an egg kind of conversation, but it brings up some really interesting points there. They do find that potentially it is trainable, and how you approach it and how you think about this whole thing kind of really depends on how you're going to respond and live your life, not only in instant gratification with marshmallows, but everything like that. If you set up a situation correctly, it can influence it. We'll link up to a video that was really interesting that talked about like organ donors. If you have to check a box to be an organ donor, they found that the rates are really low. If you had to uncheck a box that was already checked saying you're going to be an organ donor, organ donation rates were extremely high, all because of just how the form was set up. So you can set up a lot of these things based on the situation. But it is really interesting. It's a lot of things that have been found where, it depends on your level of executive function, how you generally respond to things like that. And that can be somewhat innate, and also, like we said, trainable, but also going beyond that, looking at your grit and how you're able to see things that tie into Carol Dweck's research about mindset. Is it an effort versus achievement kind of a thing, and how much that can benefit you and how you're doing, and also continue to grow people and get them to improve in every aspects of life. So we highly recommend checking this one out. It's a really interesting read, and really I enjoyed the title, just the Marshmallow Test, but we highly recommend it. Thank you for listening to this CP short. This is what we are reading with the Marshmallow Test. We referenced a couple links in the short, with those being one to a video and a couple books that we referenced. All those links will be at clinicallypress.com/shorts. If you want to go check those out in case you didn't catch it or want to go back and use those for further review. But we hope you enjoyed the short and check out the book, and thank you for listening.